Hi there, welcome back to the Attitude Makeover podcast. For those of you who've joined in for the first time, let me spend some time to explain a little bit about Attitude Makeover and about myself. My name is Saujanya Shetty and I founded Attitude Makeover in November 2021. The main purpose of Attitude Makeover is to bring in guests from different walks of life and different economies to talk about their career journeys, and in this process delve deeper into some of the crucial life skills that one needs to hone to grow in your own career. As always, I hope you like it and I hope you tune in again. In this episode of Attitude Makeover, I have with me the wonderfully talented Samyukta Hornad. She's an actor, an artist, an animal activist, and an old soul in a very young body who's all over the place, as she likes to put it. With art in her blood at a very early age, she found her form of expression aligned with her purpose in acting. My conversation with Samyukta really helps you get to know her as a person. Her understanding of her privileges, pain, and thereby who she is and her identity is mind-boggling. And I think there's a lot of parallels we can draw on how we look at privilege, pain, as well as our own identity in our own journeys in life. And this conversation with Samyukta leaves me with hope that each one of us have a role to play to make this world a better place. I hope you enjoy this thought-provoking conversation with my guest. Like always, like, subscribe, and please leave your comments and feedback. Thank you.
The funny thing when you do theatre or you get exposed to certain kind of people, language won't matter, place won't matter, medium won't matter. So I got a call for this reporter, investigative reporter, and that's me. I'm a journalist. Somewhere deep inside, I'm very curious, and especially I love solving crimes. I don't know if I do it, but I don't even get close actually. Yeah, so the funny thing is when that happened, I got a call saying there's this girl, she's slightly traditional and all that, but she's super bold. And I'm like, okay, let me do this. So I went to Hyderabad and they saw me and they said, no, she can't fit that traditional thing. So there's another role. They said, why don't you play Divya Matthews? And she's a Malayali Christian who studied abroad. And she takes on politicians, men and all. So I love
that look, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I go to Kerala, people
feel at home, no?
Kalingal,
Yeah.
some other actress, and I've signed autographs as her. I came in the newspaper as somebody else.
You do look a little like Reema.
Shut up.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Little bit.
You're a Malayali?
Yeah, I am. I mean, but I've been here all my life. So.
Acha, okay.
Yeah.
So
Also, you do look a little like, I forget her name, the Tamil actress.
Sai Pallavi.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So there
I go
it's
to
a combination of
it's,
Reema and Sai.
it's when I go to Chennai, I'm somebody else, and then it's fun because I'm everywhere. So I love living different lives, and off screen also I'm playing different lives. So I get really confused with like who I really am most of
But
the
off
time.
screen, you're just you, right? Most of the time.
I don't know what is me. That is the bigger thing. I'm just like so who I was say 6 months back. You can ask like Vivek. But you have to tell me when the interview starts because I won't say Vivek.
It just started.
You should say Vivek.
I
Why
should.
not?
Okay,
Yeah,
so I feel really bad for my friends.
Let's start on that note.
And my mom actually, because my mom gets up in the morning and she saw that I was working with UNICEF one day, and her friends are calling saying, oh my god, your daughter is doing such stuff with UNICEF and all, and she calls me and she said, when did you start this? Oh, I'm like 3 days back. And she's like, what the hell are you doing with your life? And suddenly someone else would have seen some web series in Telugu somewhere and they're like, your daughter played a thief and she goes to jail. I was like, when did you do that? So I am honestly every day living so many different lives. I come back and I'm like, oh my god, what did I do today? So I get up in the morning, it's Monday morning, and I go back to sleep, it's Sunday night. I do not know what happened where. And I sometimes feel I'm just running away from things. Okay, so I did try to focus on one thing, which is acting, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to focus from today. I'm going to just do this. And so what happened was I went, and on my set, there was a dog. And dogs are supposed to be used only for 6 hours. And now they were straining the dog a lot. So the activist got up. And then I said, I will complain to the chamber. I did all of these things. It's just that every time I see I want to run away from it, it's just something like this happens. And then there's some kids that need help. And then I'm like, Samyukta, you're an actress, don't. But it'll just come there. And so I'm helpless. It's just such a big part of me. These so many hundred things that I've been doing. I've tried really hard to focus on one thing, but I can't pick.
But that's where you bring your originality as well, isn't it? Your identity is...
I'm glad you guys see it like that, because from my point of view, it's a little different. I'm just like, oh my God, you're all over the place. And it's a problem. It's a battle I fight every day. I love it. I can't help it. It's something I feel like I do not have control over. I have to do it. And I think the interesting part is the more I spend time with animals and other people and do all of this, it really helps me as an actor to understand lives better. So this awareness that you get by honestly meeting all kinds of people and doing, groundwork, and I mean meeting migrant workers, laborers, all these people who really, I mean, you understand your privilege. You understand where, what kind of roles you need to play. And when you do get a Dalit girl's role, which I did, I understand probably what she's gone through. I can't tell you, I can't imagine what they really go through. But there is some understanding and you become more sensitive, I feel. And that softness and that kindness you only get if you
interact with them,
indulge in any kind of relationship. Be it with nature, be it with animals, be it with people. It's very important for me to experience be there. So I guess, I don't know, it's one way of looking at it, but
But that's where empathy comes in as well, isn't it, Samyukta? Because you almost walk the talk. Like, it's not like, oh, this is not, I'm an actress, so this is not for me, sort of thing. You dive in, like, take the plunge.
It is there. I don't know where that comes from. It was there before. I was an actor as well. I've been doing this for too long. And I don't know, it's very interesting, and I don't know if I should even say it, but there's some comfort you find in pain sometimes, in other people's pain. And I've always been that girl who's looked for it. And I guess that's probably why there's this catharsis that happens on stage. So when I was doing theatre, for me, my first big play was for Bangalore Utsav. And Padma Shri, B. Jayashri, like, she was the one who was my guru, my mentor. She was a hardcore guru. Like, she used to make me cry. Okay. And on stage, for the first time, when I cried, that experience is why I still think that it's a fix. It's like a drug. You cannot go back once you experience it. Once you've seen it, once you know how that feeling, makes you, it's like every cell in your body is alive. And that kind of a thing, when you experience it once, it's like how people do bungee jumping or skydiving or scuba diving, that adventure, the adrenaline that happens. I got that at a very young age with acting. When I started playing roles that went through a lot of pain. And that somehow was a fix. So and whether it is acting, whether it's something else, even the music I listen to, I somehow find it so comforting.
But that's where I think if I can relate with some of this, because when you feel the other person's pain, you almost become one with them, isn't it? I'm like, oh, you're not okay, I'm not okay, we're in this together. I feel that. And I feel that for my characters, and so I'm so madly in love with some of the women I've played. It's just that I become them. It's so hard. I played this Devdasi in a play once. It's Kambaro, Gnanapita Wadi. So I have to run. So when the British introduced democracy and constitution, all that happened here, Devdasis were not supposed to perform at temples. Now what happened then was they didn't know how to make their money. So this one girl who was very young decides that she'll go to every landlord there and says, I'm pregnant with your baby.
because they would all have slept with her. And they banish her. So she decides to steal the jewels from a temple, from the god. But there's a beautiful ceremony, like a carnival that happens, and this guy acts possessed, like the god has entered him, and everyone goes and worships him. Now, I got this role when I was 17. Okay? It's too much of a responsibility, and my guru, B. Jayashree, had said, you need to cut off from everyone, because you are a person there who's like going through this, and you really can't be friendly with others. So as a person, I cut off myself from people I used to work with. Even after, when everyone used to chill and have their tea, I couldn't do it because I was so much of that girl. And so on stage, when this happens, I'm supposed to run, and I had hair down till my knees and thicker, and I was madder. You can imagine there's this feral child running from the audience in front of thousands of people. I ran up on stage and I do this scary dance. And when you see or experience these things at a very young age, it's just a lot. And there's nothing more you want. You want to be more of this, whatever that is. You don't even understand it. But you're like, oh my God, what was that? And you get a lot of attention when you're an actor. And I think my first movie just changed everything for me there. And so, once you get your makeup on, you're never really getting it off. And my grandpa was a makeup artist. And he used to do like prosthetics. And he's made me a clown. So I saw like a big red nose. And our house is called Green Room. And our productions is called Green Room Productions. So I think at a very young age, I was introduced to this drug. So
started very early, isn't it?
Very early.
5, 6?
6. My first play was when I was 6.
Your grandmother.
Yeah, she directed me. And she is a very scary person too.
Scary?
Yeah, so in the industry, my name is Terror, by the way. They call me Terror. And my auntie is very, very scary. Terror, Veerappan kind of person. Yeah, they used to call her that, so yeah.
But your auntie is pretty famous, right? I mean...
Yeah, she is. So I'll tell you a very funny story. So my grandpa met my Aji when she was doing her MA. And my Aji was playing the role of a guy because she, it's an all-girls college. And she needed a mustache. And my grandpa was doing the makeup. She went to the green room. And she said, I want a mustache that doesn't fall. And my grandpa put Fevikwik. Okay, because he was also a badass. And she went on stage and the mustache never came out after. So she is, I'll tell you, you'll understand when I say she's mad, because she decided to take her bus with that mustache.
Wow.
So she wears this huge, if you see her pictures, like her bindi is bigger than the forehead. Okay, and she's wearing this sari, and with a mush, she goes back in the bus.
Wow.
And my grandpa fell in love with her immediately. So I come from a family that is very crazy and inappropriate. So what do you expect from me?
It's awesome.
So then my grandpa followed her and all that, and then he went and told her, I love you. And she's like, listen, all this, like, he actually got a PG right next to her house. And then he fell in love with her. And then she said, I can't say I love you and all, but let's see what happens. So they went to Banaras to get married. And they got bored of the rituals or something. So they decided to have a play. Or instead of a reception where people stand and click pictures, they had a skit on that day. So how do I beat the story? Which is why I've not found love in my life. I'm a person who wants to, like, my life is about stories. And nothing beats the story for me. Like, even my mom is crazy, right? And all of them have such great stories. Like, everything else seems so, like, it's too much pressure and baggage I carry with such inspiration that, like, my Aji and my mom that I have, yeah.
But I believe that, your generations before, the turn or the ceilings they break, they become like a ground for you to break more ceilings. And that's what you're doing, isn't it? No.
Well, I hope so. It's always been there that For the most part of my life, I want to be like my grandmom. I've written that in so many places. My first creative writing essay and all that courses I did, I always spoke about my grandma and how she was such like a kind but strong, powerful person. And it's very interesting when we talk about feminism or feminists right now. My Ajji never cooked in the house. She used to always be out there working, and she used to earn. But she was the most gentle, graceful, kind person. So it doesn't have to be out loud there screaming, oh my God, and all that. Yeah, so it happens. You can set an example. I am who I am today because of my Ajji and my mum, right? And they are very strong people. But as much as you have to call out things that are wrong, there's a way of doing it. And I think the biggest superpower that women have is grace. And somewhere we're all missing out on so many things, which is like, honestly, all these other movements that's happening. Are you even helping the people that need help? You are screaming so much on social media, but the ones who actually require help are not even there. They don't have the time to check your Instagram stories. Like, if you really want to help,
go out and
not in your kitty parties, in your Taj hotel. Or, you know what, today I didn't get my pedicure, or I paid for my own pedicure. Just understand now what's happening in life. And I don't know if you want to put this, but it's okay. But I see all these women talking so much, and even these other movements that have happened in the industry. The ones who require help are the hairstylists, the makeup artists, who really get traumatized by certain things that happen in the industry. As an actor, when things don't work out my way, I actually can walk out. I have the privilege and I have the guts. I'm an actor, first of all. You're not even understanding the privilege you're coming from, right? Why are you not going out there and helping people who need help? Instead, there's so much talk. I'm sorry. I think you should ask me question and say stop. Or else it's just
I'm loving this.
Yeah.
I want to get into the privilege part, right? One of the I agree with you. Women, I think there's so much one can learn from women. Right? But we also bring on so much on ourselves. If we know, for example, to your point, if we know how to deal with conflicts, like to your growing up days, you talked about how they've been an influence, your grandmother and your mother, but you go back and you also argue with them about your beliefs.
No, the funny thing is, I don't want to be my mom. Right? I do not, because she is a very soft person. And as much as she does what she wants, some people do not probably go out of their way to stand up for others or fight a battle and all. She is in a space where, okay, I want to take this back. Just don't use this, because I know my mom will get angry. I want to say so much. Okay, I'll say this differently.
Okay.
I see my grandmom right now, and she's 84. But what happens sometimes when you see a person, like I've seen her for so long, she's like Kali, like Durga, like all of that. But it affects you later, like when you're fighting this battle all the time. And then there's my mom, who's opposite of it. She's always been soft, nice, listening to things, all that. They're two opposites, two extremes. And I don't want to be both.
You want to be the middle ground.
I want to be me, which is, I don't know what still. I'm figuring it out. But I definitely know what I don't want to be. Right? I don't want to be always trying to prove a point somewhere. I don't want to be trying
submissive and the other.
Yeah. So as much as they've helped me, like my mom is the most generous person I know. I think I have nobody in my life I hate. There's not a single cell in my body that understands revenge, no matter what has happened in my life. And that's from my mom. It's not from my grandma. She is the opposite of it. She will go and stab that person if she has to. My mom wouldn't do it. I can tell her the worst things about people and she'll still be nice to them. And I get that from her. And on the other hand, when things around me, people are being unfair to others, I will stand up for these people. Even in the film industry or the political space, wherever it's happening. The reason why I can do that, even for the voiceless animals, or just being there for the powerless, right? That comes from another space. I fully don't get it where it comes from. It's just, I feel like to an extent I have been powerless and I understand what that does. So it's become a thing. So the second I see it, I want to attack it. I want to attack the person doing it, but I do it in a different way, like in more like a way my cat would do it, with a lot of grace. And I feel that. I feel like I'm most influenced not by my auntie or my mom, but the animals around me.
So tell me what a cat would do it. I mean, because this is the hard one, right? Because there's grace. All of us have grace. I mean, any woman you take, or actually anybody.
That's not really true.
No?
It's not at all. So I have a role that I played in a series called as God, where I play this reporter, and I have to walk up to this guy who's getting married to another. She is a politician. He would have used my card. He would have slept with me to use this card to go kill a guy. And I find I'm in love with him, but I figure that he's used me. Now I want to go ruin his wedding. So I go completely dressed up and I meet the wife. And now the scene that was written was, I am this girl who wants to attack this other woman. Actually, I am the woe, but she's getting married and I want to break the marriage. So I want to go tell her that, do you know what your husband did out of anger? Then I couldn't do it because I'm like, dude, this girl was betrayed, right? There's no justice here, right? So I kept thinking. I said, okay, so how would someone graceful do it? So I thought of my cat. When she attacks, it's so beautiful to watch it. It's like this is like one dance happening, right?
Go back.
So I was like, okay, let me try this. So I walk up to her in the scene. You should watch it. I walk up to her. I hold her. And I said, you know what? Your husband is so great in bed. And with a smile. Okay, it's evil. But it's still better than going and making it vulgar and using certain words, right? And then I go back and she still decides to marry him. I'm heartbroken because I love this man and he did this to me. But there's anger. But I'm not going to ruin it. Yeah. I'm going to sit here and with my eyes probably kill you. But there's still some anger, grief, sadness, pain, everything. Yeah. And so what happened was the entire thing changed. My director was shocked that the audience now will have sympathy towards me and not even that girl. I took it away. And that was a little... so I think that's what increased my role in the series, and that's what a web series does. You have a chance to improve. And I love my characters. Like, I really, even if it's the darkest thing, I'm like, wow.
But I love this bit of how you took the grace from the cat.
Yeah.
And it's like basically what you're saying is you observe, you sort of really live in that moment to observe things,
right?
Imbibe that, and utilize that as a character, as you,
right?
In different situations.
You won't even believe me. My walk changed in the series. They said, why were you walking like this? I started to walk like an eagle, like a kite, which made no sense to them. But I said, this is the way a kite would walk. It's confident. It's like a vulture. And all these guys, there's this confidence that they have. So I'm actually getting inspiration for my characters from animals around me. And then I was playing this poor girl with torn clothes and all that. And then the whole time I'm thinking of a cow and its eyes. And immediately I become that.
Yeah. So
I get inspiration from things that I've spent most of my time with, right? And that is like animals. So it's interesting. I love it. I love the process every time.
Before, I want to go deeper into the animal part because I think that's where you and I connected as well.
Yeah.
But before that, you brought up this whole thing about privilege. And I think very rarely do you first find people who understand that they have privileges,
right.
And acknowledge it. First understand, then acknowledge, and then stand up.
Right.
For the others, right? It comes down to your earlier conversation about how you feel about it as well, right? How did you go about that? Because it's not an easy journey, first of all, to understand the privileges you've got, then to acknowledge that, and to then say, okay, I'm going to stand up now.
So, it's not an understanding that happened when it was happening. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like suddenly you have changed so much and you're like, okay, what happened? It's a slow thing that you realize. And the more, I think during COVID, I used to first only work with animals. Like I was helping dogs, I was doing 100 other things, and one day, because of an interview that happened on TV, I got a call saying there's this lady who couldn't breastfeed her baby and she needed food. And I had a few food kits in my car, and at night around 10:30, I just drove up to her place. She really didn't expect me to go there. And when I did, she broke down, and I even now see I'm going to cry because it was hard. It was hard for me to watch it. Forget what she was going through. The pain that I have is very different from the pain she is going through. She broke down, and I couldn't eat for the next 3 days. I was sitting at my table just looking at food and crying, saying, oh my God, I have no idea what people are going through, right? Yeah. It hurts. It's not something I could actually, I was not prepared to handle this. And there were days when, during COVID, where the richest of people had all the money, everything, couldn't get a bed. Yeah. And I was arranging beds, and out of every 5 people I arranged a bed for, 2 used to die, you know. Every day, my mom had COVID, so she was quarantined. I wanted to escape from that. My uncle had COVID. We lost a family member, and there was so much happening. And for me to disappear from that space and help others was what I needed. And so I got involved in it so much. And then I got calls from crematorium saying the waiting list is for 18 hours. We don't know how to bury the body. And at the same time, you're looking at people who are dying, who don't even understand they've got COVID. When you start dealing with this, the shit gets real, right? And it's like every day is a gift. Yeah. The pain, I went through a lot. I was not prepared for it. No one told me that. I mean, no one asked me to do it, first of all. I jumped in it, and I went too deep to a space where I couldn't come out. And it was a good 3 months. And the number of deaths, number of people I have spoken to I don't even know is scary, right? And when you get out of this and you figure that the more detached you are from this, the more people you can actually help. And that detachment, that 1 month of trying to understand what happened, and I think that made me realize what I have. So every plant, every moment, every cup of coffee, every time I'm a little bit crying right now. Then I remember after that, when I actually went on a set, I started crying. Even now I'm crying, but you know, that feeling, oh my God, I have this, you know, and I love it. I worship it. And that's when you sort of understand. And I know other girls, like, I don't have to go too far, like my own set of people, my first circle, second circle, they don't address things probably the way I do. I have fought for it to an extent. I have been a rebel. I've been a horrible daughter sometimes. But it's something that you earn sometimes. There are 2 kinds of privileges that you get. One that you make for yourself, and the one that you come with. And we don't, like us, we're already 1% of the population. And the second you start understanding that, you understand anything in excess that you have in your life is actually poison. Be it, I don't know, food, money. I mean, we're also greedy there. And so I guess, I don't know, I think this time COVID really changed who I am. I don't want to stop chewing.
I'll get you some
No,
tissues.
It's okay, I'm fine. I'm an actor, I'll move this. But, you know, it's interesting what it did to me as a person. I think I've grown 15 years. I have. Like, even when I look at relationships right now, I'm more compassionate towards my parents. Right? I'm more forgiving towards everyone. And and I think that was an important journey to understand myself and everyone around me better. Okay.
Want tissue?
No, I'm
what
good.
else?
See, my tears don't fall. It just like goes out.
I noticed that. I was like,
so
wow.
it's an actor thing. My dad will be like, oh, tears too much. And so I'm like, okay, back.
No, I can relate with this, Samyukta, because around 4 years back, arrogance, right? I been working, doing good, and I said I want to do a podcast. And I said, okay, what podcast? And I decided I'll do a podcast on transgenders in India, because I always have been curious. Historically, there's so much relevance to transgenders, and now it's like the other side of the story in some ways, right? And this was when that 377 was passed out and all. And so I said, I want to do a podcast on transgenders. What does it take to be a transgender in India?
Right.
And I went with a lot of arrogance. I don't think I've talked about this, but there's so much arrogance. Like, I'm going to help them. I'm going to help them.
Right. Make a difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct.
So I went there. First thing, they didn't want to talk to me.
Right.
Because it's a close community. They've gone through so much. They didn't want to talk to me. And I was like, what the hell? Why? I'm doing them a help.
Right. I'm doing you a favor.
I'm doing, right? Like, it's all about me.
Right.
And then I met this alternate law firm, NGOs and all that. And through them, I got connected to 4 of them.
Right.
I cannot tell you, Samyukta, see, even now.
Goosebumps.
I cannot tell you the learnings I had.
Right.
It humbled me.
Yeah.
It grounded me. I have not been so clear about my privileges since then.
Right.
To a point where I can totally relate what you're saying about feeling someone else's pain.
Right.
Because it's impossible to imagine the journey one goes through.
You can't.
Right?
Right. I was so wrong in so many places where I said, I'm trying to help. If you see my previous interviews, the way I've spoken about helping children, helping people is very different from the way it is right now. And honestly, I have to say this. I hope all the men are watching this. Okay, this is a very serious
thing. I have
thing.
more men in my phone.
Oh my God, the second I meet these guys, okay, first of all, half of Karnataka is looking to find a boy for me for some reason. It's happening. It's in every interview oh my God, Samyukta will be seen with a gorilla or some other animal somewhere, but never with a boy. So the second I meet these guys who are trying to probably flirt somewhere, they go oh my God, I'm so much into social work and I have the most generous heart. I'm such a good person. I love animals. And I know they've done nothing, because actually when you do it, you cannot talk about it. Yeah. It's a painful space that you actually can't keep talking about. Yeah. So I'm just please put this there in caps. I want to get this. Just don't come to me and say what a generous heart you have. I'm I can't handle it anymore. I really one day there was this girl I helped. I'm no, stop it right there, because it's gone. Honestly, the more you help and the more you understand pain and the more you are with these people, you cannot really say, I'm trying to make a difference, because you are not. There's nothing, it's not a thing you can really talk about. And that's why I find I can't. Before I used to be I saw milk for cry. Now you can't catch me once saying these things. It's really disgusting. Yeah. And for my birthday, actually, I've stopped buying stuff for the past 3 years for my birthday. It's so immaterial. Nothing. I don't know. People don't know what to give me, because I'm dude, I really think this is such a stupid thing that we are celebrating today. Because, and so I went to this slum near my house. You won't believe me. During COVID, before COVID, these scavengers, all of them earn 800 rupees a month. They didn't even get that during that time. Yeah. Okay? There's no road to these slums. There's filth where they don't have public toilets. So women, men, dogs, rodents are potting in the same place. And there's water, and this water is going into their tents. And when you see something like this, you can't talk about it. You just can't. Right? So when people talk about I'm making a difference, I just don't know how to talk to them. I'm sorry if I've hurt anybody here right now, because you know who you are, but I just can't. I feel like I was that person, one of them. But the more you work, the more you understand. You just want to do as little as you can.
Your bit.
There's nothing more you can do. And that's all I'm doing, honestly. I'm not changing the world.
So your relationship with pain, I want to dive a little deeper over there.
You'll get scared.
No,
it's too dark.
I think it's important to
Yeah, sure.
understand that, because that has sort of the nature that you are right now
Right.
is like a very giving, empathetic, sort of figuring out yourself as well in a lot of ways, right? It's a
Yeah.
very ambiguous state to be in. And
Right, I think it's again a very soft spot. But the more I feel like nothing in my life has stayed. Again, I'm crying. But by the way, it's not because of pain I'm crying. It's just that I'm expressive. I'm an actor, and this is what happens. So I can cry and laugh. Oh, by the way, one of my best scenes in all my films, I'm crying and laughing because that's how I've always done it.
like simultaneously,
Not like that. I
that?
feel like as a child also, whenever there was pain, I found some sort of absurd thing at that point, and I found a way to laugh.
You know that I do that.
Right.
I do that when there's pain. There's too much pain, right?
Yeah.
You sort of distract yourself in some ways.
It's
Is
not
that what
just
it is?
it is getting out of yourself
Yeah.
and looking at the situation
From
from
outside.
a third point of view
Yeah.
and finding yourself quite funny.
Yeah.
And I feel that as much as my mom will hate me saying this, that I wanted for the longest time to be wanted by someone, right? And so I felt like the second there are dogs, there are animals involved, they immediately show their want. And the more social work I did, I realized that it sort of made me happier and kind of made me like myself a little bit more. And I feel like the love I sort of give others is something that I probably want for myself. And so I think that
I
when
promise you, Inal Salat.
no, it's okay. I love crying. I enjoy crying. You should see my crying scenes in my film.
Oh.
It's like, because I love it. Anyway, so I think when I was 18, I want to get married, and then at 23, I want to have 3 babies, and I was very sorted with what I wanted. Like, I just knew it, right? And then one of my beautiful relationships, one guy said, I'm just a failed actress or something.
Very
so then
beautiful
I'm
relationship.
like, it was very, very beautiful. I hope he's watching. But anyway, no hate. Like, it's okay. So what I'm saying is, which is where I won a Filmfare. But see, everything I did in my life around this time was to make sure some guy stays, some guy falls in love, some guy wants me. Oh God, that's 12 full years of my life that's gone into getting someone to stay.
Yeah.
My pain still comes from there, that I don't know what it is. It's never me. There's no cheating that happens. There's nothing major. But I can't pinpoint and say that, I still don't know, which is where the pain is. I feel that it's weird. I'm very occupied, and sometimes I feel I'm so occupied. I'm doing acting, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing 100 other things to probably run away from what I'm feeling. And it's beautiful only because I get to cry like this whenever I want, like on screen. It helps with my acting a lot. But I hope this is not forever. Yeah, so I think that's the pain. And I do not know, I don't feel like I belong anywhere. Like, I have a lot of friends. If I call a party right now, I have 300 people for sure. And because I've been single for so long, I think what also has happened is I've indulged in very good friendships. Right? And so whether things happen or not, I can call up my friends and go to their house 3 a.m. in the morning.
True.
And that is something I'm very grateful for, which I realized only now, like during this time. And so I'm secure emotionally. Like, I'm not like, oh my God, I want a guy. Like, I'm not desperate. But I still don't get it. And I think that's my pain. I think there's too many kinds of pain. And there are layers to this pain. Right? And I guess everything that I'm doing is to somehow like myself a little bit more. And I'm on that journey. And I hope
It always starts with self-love, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's so overused on Instagram and on
Yeah.
social media. The self-care, self-love. People are just talking. I really want to know. All these people are posting positive quotes about woke shit. I'm sorry, but if I'm really feeling like shit in the morning, I don't think I can look at your quote and feel better. There's something more that needs to happen, right? And this positivity is like as toxic as the other side of it. Don't give false hope. Don't say things will get better. Don't say it's okay. Like, it's good to talk about mental health. It's good to talk about self-love. But people are bombarding this, and people who don't even understand it, 18-year-olds who've gone through, who would break a nail, they're talking about suffering. You're diluting it a lot.
Yeah.
Right? And what is this called? Positive something I've been using.
Reinforcement.
No. Positive something. I spoke about it somewhere. I'm not getting the word right now. But that hurts as well. And I think people should be real. Like, I know it's hard in this space that we are in right now, where everyone's writing scripts on Instagram, on Twitter, everywhere, and we're all great writers and we make up such great stories. But somewhere these fake things that is happening is hurting someone else, and I want people to keep that in mind, I think, somewhere.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going on a solo trip, self-love. Who's paying for this shit? This story that you're selling, like the ones who are actually going through pain, who don't have that money, are you helping them or making them feel worse?
You don't feel the empathy for the other person.
Right. And I'm going all the way to Maldives and I'm having my vegan food. Like, okay.
It
Boss.
comes back to our
Privilege.
conversation
So
of,
you're not understanding
awareness
it.
first,
So,
right?
Yeah, I think that. Has my eye like to my...
No.
I should stop spitting. I'm so sorry about that. But this kajal, has it come down? Like, no, it's fine.
It's not.
It is waterproof.
Can you see yourself in that?
Okay.
You look good.
Thanks. That's the validation I was looking for at this point. But thank you very much. Yeah.
So, during COVID,
Right.
I think a lot changed for me. ಯಾರೋ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot changed for me in terms of just realizing the first wave was like far away, right? It hurt to watch migrant workers walk,
Right.
and you're like talking about it, what shit is this, the government and things like that. But the second wave really hit us closer.
Right.
And I think for me, it made me think. It made me think of how powerless you are, how minuscule you are, how miniature you are in this universe.
Right.
And it really brings out privilege.
Right.
It brought out privileges on my face.
No, but there was another thing. What we didn't understand is that the richest people, or the poorest of them, we were all fighting for the same bed.
thing. Yes, for the same thing.
Right. You could have all the money you have, but you may not find your oxygen cylinder because there's a dearth of it, especially in Bangalore. And no matter how much money you had, I got a call from some guy I didn't even know. He was from North. He couldn't even speak the language. And he's like, I give you everything. Just get a bed for my 19-year-old son. And I'm like, I can't. There are no beds available. Right? And no matter how much power you had and how much money you had, it's an invisible virus that showed its power over everything. So I think, privilege didn't matter.
Yeah.
As much as I understood privilege, it also understands that nothing matters.
Yeah. It's like the stages of privilege that we just talked about, right? Like,
Yeah,
you
layers
start with
to it.
awareness and then you go on. I'm here to help to, okay, all right.
Okay, just survive today. We'll see. Because that's what happened,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Even me, I think even now you're just surviving.
Yeah.
Right? There's somewhere, all of this should make sense, and you're hoping that there is some light somewhere.
Yeah.
But everything you do for selfish reasons only. And the second you understand that nobody needs you,
Yeah.
nobody wants you, and nobody needs you. I think that's what, like I'm telling you, especially, I've said this before as well, if Shah Rukh Khan dies, if Christopher Nolan dies, if everybody dies, film industry won't die.
Yeah, there'll be new ones.
There'll be somebody somewhere with one smartphone who's still a filmmaker.
Yeah.
The film industry doesn't require Samyukta Hornad. I don't know what to do without it. It's my problem. So the ones who are complaining, oh my God, it's such a sick industry. Oh my God, where? It's Fox and the Grapes story.
Yeah.
You want it, you fight for it. I love this quote. It's by Mark Twain. It says, it's not the dog in the fight, it's the fight in the dog.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's always that. So you should understand why you're doing and how you're not required, and the journey becomes better for you. Yeah.
Start from ground zero.
So it's don't give yourself so much importance.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody wants you so much.
Yeah.
Like everything will work without you. So once you know that, you'll start living a little better, I feel.
So during COVID, you had family all going through COVID, and there you were on the streets, like, you know, and it's not like once or twice. You were there on the streets for like 3-4 months out there,
Right.
practically every day, pretty hands-on.
Yeah.
What changed in you, Samyukta? Because the older Samyukta to this...
No, I was always there. Like, as soon as you say stray dogs, everyone knew Samyukta as the person to call. Like, I have been that girl for 10 years. It's not like a new thing. I think everything I've ever done in my life for animals comes from this core gunda. I mean, the second I lost him, which was 6 years ago, my life changed. I think even when I won my Filmfare, I gave the award to him. I said this award is for my dog Gunda, and people may not understand it. But I started looking at every animal saying, my love for this is going to him. And when I did that, I just wanted to help all animals, all stray dogs, everything. And I think that's, as soon as they said COVID and all the restaurants are shutting, etc., my heart just went out to the hundreds of stray dogs. And I just want to help them. And so, yeah, I've always been that. It was not like something changed when I heard about it. It's just that I feel like this is how I keep Gunda alive somewhere. And that's the story. Oh my God, you made me cry 3 times.
My intent is
I hate
not...
you.
My intent... My intent is really not the first one.
I started. Yeah, Vivek will be surprised. Like, anyway, so... No, it's just that Gunda does that. He knows. Suddenly I'll see his dog and I want to hug it. And then... Wah! So, but it's my weak spot.
I can relate with it. For me, life changed. I was telling you, right? So Shadow was my life.
Right.
Like for 10 years, I've not seen... When you look at him, he's like a very ferocious fellow.
Yeah.
Bugger, when you come to the gate, no, he'll do with all his teeth. Like someone who doesn't know him, he's a Doberman and he's already very big. He's like very tall Doberman and he'll stand on all his fours. And he that was him just being happy. And that was Shadow. Like, I've not seen him, you know, pounce on anybody, fight or attack or anything, right? But with humans, he's like the kindest soul. All he wanted was to be loved. And so when he passed away, it really hit me very badly.
Right.
Things changed for me.
Yeah.
Things changed a lot. I mean, things are still changing for me.
Yeah. It's yeah, I'll move to Bombay.
You moved to Bombay.
I couldn't stay at home. So I think that my love for everything comes from my love for him. And yeah.
I think we'll get a tissue roll on you.
No, I don't need it. No. I'm just thinking.
I'm ready. Completely hands-on.
Like, I'm just looking at him. Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
No,
but it's the biggest inspiration of my life. And everything that I am today, the good stuff, I will only give my dog the credit for it. Because I never had friends, like at all, ever in my life. The only relationship I ever indulged in was my relationship with my dog. So you can understand why it was so important. My life revolved around it. And I would come back and he would drop me to school, he would drop me to college, and then that's all I knew. And suddenly he was gone, you know. And I was so lost. And then, so I ran. I ran from my emotions. I never cried when I put him to sleep, by the way.
Putting him to sleep is the most difficult
So it's very
one,
funny.
right?
So I did a course on acting in Bombay. It was Manoj Bajpayee's, and it's a show. It's called movies.com, where they train you. And there's one exercise where you had to show an emotion. There's going to be a backtrack. You can, no props, no other actor on stage. You have to do your thing. And that is where you get your marks and stuff like that. I had this one song I used to listen to a lot. We used to go on drives, me and Gunda, like a lot. And we had our spots, we had our thing. And then, by the way, even during my movie narration, he would sit with me.
Wow.
Yeah. So, very, very important relationship of my life. So, anyway, funny thing, I didn't know how to show guilt. But putting him to sleep did that to me. As much as I knew he was old and the doctors had given up, everything had happened, I didn't want him to suffer. So even though my mom and dad were against it, I decided as his mom that I'm going to put him to sleep. But now I've never been able to show guilt. And so when I did this exercise as a part of my course, for the first time, I enacted that whole scene of putting him to sleep. And that is when it actually left me, you know, that guilt that I had. And I used it in a film. And by the way, the film is called Nanu Mate Gunda.
Oh.
It's so funny that I got a film. They came to me with a story and they said the film's title is this. And I didn't ask who the producer was. I didn't ask anything. I said, I'm doing it. It's so funny, in that film, there's a dog. And I looked at that dog and I just cried for a whole 3 hours. And the next 2 days I had fever. But that's where my emotions come out, right? And as an actor, that's what you get. It's something I completely enjoy because you don't know when you will find that relief, right? And acting does that. It brings out all your emotions. You get to express. You get to do a lot of things that probably otherwise people will laugh at you. If you're not an actor and after 3 years suddenly you cry for 3 hours, it doesn't make any sense, right? And I feel like I get that with acting. So my joy, my sadness, anger, every cabin that I use for acting, mostly 90% is still Gunda. You know what I'm saying? My best moments, like, I don't know. Like right now, that's what I say when I sit by the beach and I'm looking at the sea and I don't know if I'm happy or if I'm sad. I get confused with my emotions so much. And I keep going back to these moments I've shared with my dog. It's still my happy space, and it's the most, like, your strongest and weakest thing is always the same thing.
Yeah.
It's always your heart, it's always love, and it's all linked to Gunda somehow for me.
Yeah. I can relate with this. I'm making you cry and I'm feeling so bad about it.
This is taken a completely different twist.
Yeah, the way I came into what happened right now. Okay.
No, I can relate to this because they live in their moment, right? Like, for me, Shadow lived in his moment. Like, there was nothing about he carried anger from yesterday to today with me. Nothing like that. It is like, it is, and to your point, he used to sit, like, especially the whole 2 years that we were at home working from home with COVID, he'd sit by my foot throughout the calls, right? And one paw would come, like, hello, now touch me, kind of a thing. So they live in the moment, which is what you're saying. Like, you know, there's so much to learn about living in the moment over there with them, that you learn from them, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you want to take a break?
No, I'm good.
Yeah?
Go for it.
Okay. I promise you. I'll salah.
No, it's not you. It's just, I think I am sort of emotional today. It's not the time of the month.
It is.
No, it's not. I'm just kidding. Oh my god, I've gone mad. I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know. What the hell? I didn't even have something to drink. It's just like, okay.
All
Come
right.
on.
Different time of month. It's one of those.
It's the better part of the month.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So we'll switch gears a bit.
Huh?
We'll switch gears a bit for you.
Cool.
So acting is not easy, right? It probably comes very easy to you. I don't know. Maybe it's an assumption in my head, but it's not easy when you have to play different roles. You almost have to walk that life. How do you go about really?
So acting doesn't come to you.
It doesn't.
It
right?
doesn't. First of all, so I again will say I'm lucky that I was born in a family of theatre artists. So what happened, instead of talking about studies and going for tuitions, I used to understand what lighting is. I used to understand what cues are. So what happens, I know there's a lot of talk about nepotism and all that happens. There's another side to it. Your life, you've seen failure, success, you've seen awards, you've seen this, you've seen all of these things. So when you get it, it doesn't matter. You are able to handle it differently. All your life, you've understood sets, you've understood lights, you've understood makeup, right? So it's a part of you.
So when you see it, it doesn't.
It doesn't shock you. It's not new. It's a part of your system, right? And I will tell you that it was, because all my life my grandpa used to have 30, 40 people at our place every day. Our house, one full floor, is still a place for people to come and rehearse.
Oh, even now?
Even now. So my grandpa's place, it's called Green Room, where a full floor was rehearsal floor. One room is just makeup room. This is how our house was built. So you see people doing these acts, and then it's very, very amusing for anybody. It's like Disneyland. Like you're like, hey, what is happening here, right? And this is what you see. So you keep taking it in. Now, that's not where you get your acting from. Anybody who's honest to themselves can become a good actor. To become famous, to get roles, that whole chakra is different. I'm just talking acting. What you need is honesty and awareness. To an extent, to be sensitive, to be able to observe things and absorb it. I think that's what makes you a good actor.
Well, the honesty bit is where? Honest to yourself or honest?
No, honest to only yourself.
Only
you can
yourself.
lie to everybody else. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You've got to be honest to yourself.
And awareness is around everything.
Yeah,
everything.
Like the best of actors, when you look at Hollywood films or anywhere, they're very, very intelligent people.
Yeah.
Like it's not like here we dilute it a lot. We don't look at artists with the way, like that's why when you do theatre, every cell in your body is acting, is being that role. I mean, I will not say acting, is being another person. So I feel like life itself, because of my kind of exposure, because of how I was brought up, interested me a lot. I have never been bored of anything. You leave me in a room alone for 365 days, I will find something and I will entertain myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that boredom was taken away because you're made curious with a lot of things. So when life starts interesting you, other lives interest you more. So when I get to play somebody else, I first fall in love with that character, whether it's for you, she may be a villain, but in her eyes, she's still a hero, right? And it's empowering no matter what role I play, it brings something to me. And that kind of an energy, I love it.
And does it stick around?
Oh yeah, so now I'm playing a cop. Okay, and it's about child trafficking, and I'm going to my mom saying, how are you? What have you cooked? Like, she's like, Samyukta, shut up. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, I walk differently with my hands in my pocket, and it took me a lot to just not be her, man. I love her, and she's like a badass cop, okay? And it's in Telangana slang, I abuse people. And it was something I needed. I was going through like a bad time personally, and I had to take out my anger. So I was super aggressive. I hold people. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that, but I was holding this guy by his collar. Like I just went for his collar.
I realized.
And I throw him, and then it's just fun. I feel so strong after it. Like I can conquer the world feeling I have. And not that I want to do that to all my men, but maybe a little bit. But it's just that it's empowering. I feel strong, and it helps me get over my past.
Yeah.
And I think most of the women I've played have been super strong like this.
Yeah.
They carry their pain, they carry their scars like a tattoo.
Mm.
I do not want to show my finger. But yeah.
No. Can you please tell the story of your finger?
No, I think there is...
First, tell me, where is it? Samyukta, which finger is it?
It's a very important finger.
The people who watch, there are people who listen. So, for the ones who listen, which finger is this?
It's the middle finger. Because I find that the more... I don't know... I feel like, honestly, the more powerful I feel, more than everybody else giving me power, the more powerful I feel about my choices in life, the more hate I get. There's so much hate on Twitter. Something I'm doing something with animals, and someone's like, oh, she makes so much money from it. Like, do you even understand how much money you'll make from a place like Prani? Like, there's so much, man. And then every day, morning, night, I'm getting some ridiculous messages. And I'm not used to such hate. Like, I've seen hate, but this is a lot more. And I want to say, please leave me alone.
Leave me alone. Please leave me alone.
I can't. I want to say, you are disgusting. But I can't. And I don't want to. And I feel that it's below my dignity to go down to that level and fight. Because there are bigger battles to fight. These are 500 people. But I'm here for, hopefully, 5 crore animals and people. And that's the battle I want to fight. And I want to say, please, kindly get lost from my life.
And hence.
But with love, I'm saying you to get lost. So it's on my middle finger, and it's got a heart. And yeah, so when I show my finger, the other side has an infinity heart. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah, so to me, I'm giving myself love. Oh yeah, it's a little messed up.
No, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's very cool, actually.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's, people struggle to figure themselves out even in their 40s, right? And here you are, you're going through that journey of figuring yourself out. And
It's the number of bad people I've met in my life. So all you people who've been bad to me, thank you very, very much. I really am grateful for so many stories that I have, which have... I feel like I'm an 85-year-old sometimes, like very, very mature, and then I switch to being a 5-year-old. So I think it's a constant battle. It's not easy. It's not that I've reached somewhere with it.
Yeah.
It's an everyday learning that needs to happen. The second you stop, and especially I want to tell artists here that every day you're going to be starting from zero. People's memory short, they will forget you. So every time you go and try to get your next film or something else, you have to start from zero, and there is going to be someone better looking, more talented, more privileged, everything happening. And that's what artists fight. I'm not talking, when I said looks, it's for actors, better writers, better others, better musicians, and so many different kinds. And people have found exposure, and you are celebrities overnight on social media, right? It gets to you, and you would have done so much, and nothing may happen in your life. So I feel like somehow you need to get up and say, today, I'll be in a good mood. I think that is the one line I tell myself every day. And that is already a struggle. Like, no matter what happens, I will decide to be in a good mood. And that's all I say. It's actually as simple as that. It's not, I will love myself, I love every part of me. Can't happen. Won't happen. You will probably do this for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
At least what I can say is I will not be throwing my mood, my anger on things around me. I think that's the first step.
And this comes from the awareness, isn't it?
you still ask me who I am, and I'll be like, oh my god, I'm the most lost person under the sun, right? So I think awareness of what emotions, yeah. I feel like there's certain people I meet who probably disturb me, who shake me a bit, and I come back thinking, what happened? So I guess I am aware of how certain things make me feel, and that energy, and but I still have to live with it, as in I will have to meet these people again. I still have to meet the people I'm working with at the social workspace or the active, like animals,
activism
space, or even the industry. It is hard. It is, I mean, from far you look at this as the true filthiest industry, and I've put my foot in both, right?
The animal industry?
No, the political space.
Yeah.
And the
film industry.
The film industry. From far, people think, okay, this is the worst place to be.
Yeah.
And I'm there.
Yeah.
All out, right? And I have to meet all kinds of people. And so I will not say, oh my god, bad energy, let me sit at home. No. You go through it. If you're put in an ocean, you have to swim. You have to find your shore, or else you're going to drown. So now I've just decided to dive, and now I can't say, hey, someone save me. I have to fight my own thing. And I think that's how I look at it.
So you've taken the plunge on that journey.
Yeah. What else to do?
Is that easy? Is that difficult?
It's both. It changes every day, right? Like, as an actor, the kind of attention and power you get, you won't get it otherwise. And the way I use it becomes a responsibility that I take, right? I will not use it one day promoting vegan stuff, one day talking leather. I'm sort of sorted and credible because of the things that I always use my social media for. And that's a space where you need to invest in. It takes time to understand that, okay, this is not what I want to talk about. I will not do certain kind of roles. I will say no to these things. I will call out this stuff when I have to. So that's a decision, a choice you make every day. And that comes with certain other stuff. Like, you have to sacrifice on some things. But that you have to be willing to do that. You have
conscious.
Yeah, so it is not easy, but it's also not difficult. It is, yeah, like you said, it's somewhere awareness, somewhere something. It's a mix of so, it's like busy bath. It's like too many things happening, but end of it is good, right? Right?
Biryani.
Yeah. No biryani. It's busy bath. Like, it's confusing space. Yeah.
And has that made you more outspoken in this process?
I think these past 2 years, the kind of roles I play, these women that I've played, right? They have been so confident and everything that I'm not.
That you're not.
Go out there. No, I am like, I know I'm talking like this, I'm sitting like this and all, but I have anxiety issues. Sometimes I get damn scared and I'm like, oh my god, what am I doing? And that happens. But outside I'm like, yeah, tell me. Right. How does that feel? And it's just that something, as actors, you get used to. Like, you will be in this conflict, but you'll never show it. It's important to not show it also, because there are people who are looking up to you to want to be like you, and you're giving them that. Correct? So you can't be like, oh my god, this is so hard, and you can't keep complaining and crying all the time. So I wanted to say something.
Outspoken.
Right. So when I get to play these characters in front of camera, I am so confident, because I have to be. Because these girls are there, like, fighting all kinds of wars, and a part of them stays. Like, and I love it. I love that I've been playing these kind of roles, because that's giving me a lot of strength. So in real life, when I meet these people around me and then stuff happens, I know how to argue. I'm talking like the reporter or the cop or that teacher that I played. So I'm slowly becoming these characters, and it's interesting. It's giving me a very different identity to myself. I played this activist in a film recently. Like, I'm an environmentalist and all. And for some reason, whatever she says, I started saying it in my speeches. Like, I do all these public speaking, something and all. I'm like talking like her. And then in the whole film, I've worn earrings only on one side. I don't know why I did it, but I did it. And I continued being that. It just gives you some sort of energy. And I love it. I really feel like, especially in the past 2-3 years, the roles I've played have just made a lot of difference to my life. I don't mind playing weak roles. I don't mind their other stuff. But there's always something that you take from it.
Yeah. I think if I can draw a parallel, for us, we look up to role models, right?
Right.
And they say, fake it till you make it sort of thing.
Right.
And at some point, it's not just about looking up to a role model. If you really go into their entire biography of their journey,
Right.
you then imbibe a certain innate characteristics of them.
Correct.
Right? It sort of then is in your blood.
Right.
It somehow comes into your blood as
No,
well.
it's true. So whenever I have to make a decision when it comes to my roles, I'm sitting in a conference room with Shabana Azmi. There's Meryl Streep. There is Smita Patil. And I'm like, hey guys, would you be doing this role? And then you get an answer there. So I don't know how they did it. I do not understand. So many, like, not just that, like, even when I fight sometimes, I think of my Kathak teacher, Nirupama Rajendra, and how she would fight. She does everything with so much grace. Oh my god, she's like so good. You should see her fight. She'd be like, I hope you feel better. And that guy will just feel like one like small little like dust, okay? But it's just so beautiful. She's never said that. But I imagine her saying that. So when I fight, I'm like, okay, would she be using a word like this? Would she be saying something like this? And the same thing with the roles I pick. I actually sit with all these people and then I'll be like, would any of them do this? So the ideal Samyukta wants to be one of these guys. And so I look at it like that. So I have conversation and my decisions about films, everything happens from that space.
And is the industry different between Karnataka? You're there across in the south, right?
Right, not Malayalam, but getting there soon.
Awesome.
So, not in Malayalam, but in Andhra Pradesh,
Yeah.
Telangana, Karnataka,
Tamil Nadu. Okay. Yeah.
So you're there in all of them.
Right.
And is there a difference, Samyukta, in...
Yeah, there is. I think here they've seen me longer and I come from this big industry family.
There's a name.
There's a
in the
name.
family,
So
yeah.
everyone knows me when I enter. I didn't have that in Telugu, but now I'm known in Telugu because of the roles I've played and all my series were a hit. And I also worked with Prakash Raj, and that was my trilingual. That was Tamil, Telugu and Kannada at once. And some of my series was dubbed even in Hindi and Malayalam. So people across have seen this. It's a very popular series. So what happened was, that's how I started getting more roles. It is different in terms of worship. In Kannada, people don't really care for heroes and heroines or female actors or whatever as much as they worship there. There it is, the men are more macho. Like even in Telugu industry right now, even though things are changing, heroes are worshipped like crazy. There's this milk throwing and blood throwing and all that happen on the posters. And but when it comes to artists and the amount of money that gets invested, again there's a lot of difference. What is really funny though is, even though Telugu, Tamil and Malayalam are open to web series and OTT, Kannada is still way behind. I think we as an industry, we are doing great right now. As in 4-5 films that have come in 2020 and 21 have been so good, right? Yeah. And we are getting back to how Kannada industry really was, say, 30-40 years ago.
Yeah.
In between, we lost track. I know that for sure with the kind of films that were coming out. There were good films here there, but the majority of it was not working. While Malayalam grew. But about 40 years, from Putana Kangal's time to 30-40 years ago, there was Ved Rajkumar's films. All of this was the best of films. No other industry has even seen content like that. You know, and Ranganayaki, Upasani were all films that women took responsibility for. They completely carried it on their shoulder. And I think that's happening again here. And the second that happens, respects for artists change. So that's why I would feel like in the Tamil industry or in Telugu industry, there's more money involved. like our budgets and their budgets are very, very different. I'm talking per year if we are making 200 films. Like generally, I'm giving you an average. I'm not going to compare Dhanush film and one small film here.
True.
I'm just saying average of everything is different. But we're slowly moving. I think it's also becoming a pan-India thing. We're not looking at it as one language. We're looking at it as how this can become for everyone, right? And I also think that Telugu and Tamil are more united when compared to Kannada industry.
As a community, the artist community,
right.
is it?
They're more supportive to each other. We
like the Mangalore fish.
I think we're slowly getting better, coming together. But we haven't been that, I will say that, without being controversial.
Dude, there's so much controversy throughout the conversation.
Yeah? Just cut this part out then. I'm too scared. I'm like, just ban her. And I'm like, Saujanya, for your sake, I put my whole career at stake in on
Come here, sweetheart.
No. Just the industry part, if you want to take it out, please do.
Yeah.
No, I think
you tell me what you want to remove.
No, I'm okay with it. You suddenly said controversial.
No, I'm just pulling your leg.
I'm like, hey, what? I never brought
so
it up.
confused right now.
I've said worse shit, so it's okay.
I know. I told you, I bloody watched all the videos. Okay.
Yeah. I've never cried like this. Why are you doing this to me? Have you seen me cry like this?
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
I haven't.
Yeah.
Actually.
Vivek will be like pissed off at me.
Oh, because you cried?
You're like, why are you crying, man? But it's okay. I'm not scared of it. I'm not
No,
scared of anybody.
I think here's how I see it, Samyukta. Change is not easy.
Yeah, but you never know when you're actually changing, right? You
Yeah.
never know it.
Yeah.
Right.
But you feel it. You feel it every minute, every moment when you're changing. You feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think growing up, I've always been a very sensitive child. I think I have this ability to feel if someone is in pain or like going through something
Am
else.
I in pain?
I think you're in a discovery mode. You know?
Painful.
Yeah, it is a painful journey. It is a self-discovery process, and I am in that journey. Is not an easy one. It is it's lonely.
Oh God! Don't make me cry again. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
I'll keep quiet.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm so sorry I went for your collar like that. Like, I was like, I took it. And I was like, oh shit.
Why do you think I'm standing now?
Please, that part is over.
Just messing with you.
Oh, but good, he's scared of me.
Are you?
But are you not scared of me? You want to see that scene?
Yeah, she's pretty very straightforward. I've seen some of these interviews, and I've seen then the expression that the interviewer has. It's like, oh, I didn't expect this.
Yeah,
From where did this come?
Shit, I must have done all this. I'm sure.
I think it's the AC. So one last leg of our conversation.
Right.
There's animal welfare, there's activism, there's theatre, there's movies, there's OTT. You're doing quite a lot. Where are you headed? What's that North Star you're looking at?
Wow. Enough never is. They say it's just never enough. I think, honestly, I want to touch as many hearts as possible. You know, I paint a little bit like I used to. And the thought of just one painting being there after I'm dead was something that excited me. I think the reason I do films is also I will live after I die, right? And I know every dog on the road that I've helped, that's a lot of dogs. And I'm going to meet them on the other side. And it's going to be one big party. And so I think my obsession is winning hearts and making my heart bigger and bigger. And there's no end to that journey. And I think movies does that. I think animal activism does that. I think my social work, everything that I'm doing is making my heart slightly bigger and I think touching many, many lives, and that's all I want.
That's purpose as well for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hmm?
I love it. I love every bit of it. Yeah.
and with kindness. You're doing this with such beautiful kindness.
I hope so. Thank you.
You are.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So rapid fire.
Come on.
Finally, right?
Finally,
Let's do
yes.
this.
All right, Samyukta.
It was
You
such
will
a
be-
beautiful picture. What is that? Huh.
Oh, this one, no? Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I would like to have a picture like this taken of me.
Of you
Yeah.
playing the guitar?
No, not guitar though. Smashing something.
Okay. Wow.
Okay, then.
Again,
I think I brought out a very different side to you.
that took a turn.
I don't know. Is my hair everywhere? Is it okay?
No, it's beautiful. I am a big fan of your hair. I'll never say bad things about your hair.
You tell.
Ayo, he'll
Okay.
never
No, I
say.
looked at
Is
the-
my pink lipstick nice? He'll always say yes.
Although it's orange.
See, now is the first time.
Oh, well
It's the
done.
first time. But it is orange.
Yeah.
I was testing you.
So it worked.
Okay, so this is the part I'm going to refer. and
Go
ask.
for it.
What's the best advice you've ever received?
Oh my god. No. This rapid fire is going to be very slow.
I told you it's not a rapid fire.
Yeah, I think it's my dad. Yeah, it's my dad. He said, Kottiddu tanage, bachitiddu pararige, which means what you hide will go to others. What you give will come back to you.
Wow.
I was very young when he said that, but it stays.
There's a Kannada song, no?
It's a very famous Kannada gade.
Yeah.
So, so my dad used to say that a lot.
Mm.
And I think it stays. I think it's my dad. Yeah.
It's a beautiful one. It's a
Yeah.
very nice one.
Yeah.
Okay. The biggest risk you've ever taken?
I think I did scuba diving in Thailand for a shoot. And I went in. And I mean, I know you're asking for a better thing. But I mean, as in a life risk that I've taken.
No.
So I went in and lovely hair I have. My mask came off and I didn't know what to do. And the instructor had gone. I was doing all this and I thought I'm dying. And then somebody came, pressed one button. I did all that. And I had to go for the next dive immediately. And I thought I was no more. And I had not even told my parents I'm doing this. It was scary. And that jump, I did it by myself because all my friends were already inside. And I have been paid to do this. So I had to do it. And I think I jumped back in. And I don't know if I was crying. I don't know what was happening for the next 15 minutes. I think that's a risk I took. And after that, I only took it now, by the way. It's so funny. I have not been able to get into water after that whole experience. And this time I was going through so much, and like last month has been really, really bad. I didn't know what was happening and I couldn't cry. I just put on a life jacket and went into a lake. I haven't done that in 8 years after that experience.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think that's a risk. I said, yeah, I did that. So yeah, I guess that.
Strangest experience you've ever had?
What is this? What was this rapid fire?
It's just rapid. It is whatever
Strangest
comes.
experience me. I'm like,
It has to be whatever is on the top of your head, right? That's the whole idea of
This is rapid fire questions. The answers are just like
yeah,
really,
like what
you can
is
stretch it out. And
strangest? Just I don't know, really.
what's the question?
strangest
thing that's
experience.
Say this podcast, I'll be like. Anyway,
This podcast
This
really.
podcast.
came here to like.
Yeah,
be
I actually want. Yeah.
inspiring.
Okay, 1 second. Ask me.
Ask you again. The strangest experience you've ever had.
It's definitely this podcast. Because I came here to be confident and tell you my stories, but you made me cry so much and I was not ready for it.
I'm so sorry. I do.
It's not an unhappy experience. It's just strange. So you don't have to apologize for it. No complaints.
No, but I have to tell you something about me. I don't deal with tears properly. Like,
But you
did
were
you
okay.
see any? No, yeah, I was okay today. It surprised me.
So strangest experience
For me as well. Yeah.
Great.
Because otherwise, when you cry, when someone cries,
I almost
don't
held
know.
his neck, so I think it's strange experience.
That's his strangest experience.
My life. I'm so sorry. I have to show you that video. I can't wait.
Your biggest regret
Not spending enough time with my dog.
with Gunda.
That's the most I could spend, but I want to spend more. I wish I could. But yeah. Yeah, with Gunda. Right.
I think so. Me too. A type of person you can't stand.
Anybody who shows hate and revenge, But no. I'll take it back.
Okay.
In the space I come from, there are a lot of men who show their power only on the powerless. It's not anger that comes on people they think are like superior to them. It's this anybody who they think they can show power over. I can't stand it for a minute. I can't take it. And everyone knows it. They're like, okay, Samyukta, calm down. Because you ill-treat someone because of where you think you come from. I can't handle it at all. Not 1%. Yeah.
Love it. Your childhood hero.
Mayaji. Bhargavi Narayan.
I watched this video of yours with your Aji where she's talking. I think you did this recording after the rape case. And you were talking to her about women.
Oh, yeah. I did that, right.
Your Aji.
She's a bomb.
Yes.
She is.
I really think every word of hers is like Muttu.
Yeah.
The pearls.
She is that. So, yeah, Mayaji.
Something you've really been afraid of.
Humans. No doubt. Everybody knows it. I'm scared of human beings.
Why?
Because they have many faces to them. Like now we are wearing masks also. It's all hidden what they are capable of doing. And I think the ones that have hurt me have only been human beings. So I spend more time with animals. I guess if they don't like you, they show it. Human beings don't. Right.
Your best investment you've made in life?
I think definitely in terms of time, the amount of time I've honestly spent with nature and animals, it's helped me grow as a person. Like when my garden grows and there are more butterflies and worms and flowers, I feel different. I feel like I'm growing with it. So I guess these relationships matter a lot. If you're asking money, then I would say my art space that has brought in so many people into my life that are very... also, I feel it's wrong for me to say I'm scared of people all the time. There have been good people as well, but the bad ones are more. So, yeah.
So, you do your artwork and you have an art museum of sorts as well, right?
It's an art space where it's an intimate space for people to come learn acting, painting, sketching, music, dance, everything. And yeah, I love my space.
It's
called
home,
the artery.
Like the artery,
right?
Like the
home is where the art is. It's called like. But for past 2 years because of COVID, nothing much has happened. But we just recently started like yesterday, saying okay, we're gonna bring back those classes.
So you have like kacheris and all that?
No, not really. There are no performances that happen. Just classes.
Okay.
Like some classes require just 5 to 25 people, like in that range, and these classes are meant for that, right?
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay. Biggest reason people don't follow their dreams?
I think some people, I will not, I don't know what dreams are to everyone else. Like some people think being in a cage is safe. It works. It's comfortable. Some people want that. Some people want to fly. They understand what that brings in. So it's not like everybody wants to do these things. And I think it's wrong for us to say that we can't decide what dreams are for others. Maybe they are following their dream. My dream was to become a housewife. I didn't follow my dream.
With 3 kids.
With 3 kids, I don't have anything right now. I don't. So I think that was my dream. And if I'd followed it, I mean, I don't know what happened, right? So I don't know, these dreams, these aspirations, these desires keep changing. I think what happens is most people don't honestly have the privilege to. They don't fight for it. Like I said, it's the fight in the dog that matters. And most people don't want to go through the harder journey. And actually, that's it.
Because it is a tough journey. When you
It
follow.
is.
Yes.
It comes with a lot of things that you have to sacrifice.
Yeah.
And for some people, that's not worth it.
Yeah.
So they're probably following a different dream then. That's it. Your dreams are changing.
They readjust your
Yeah,
dreams.
it's adjustment that happens. Correct.
One type of person every human needs in their life. What? Him?
No, I'm asking for
You want me to
help.
Google about it? What is that?
I'm like, help me is that. That is, she's not understanding. Oh, I don't know. You need to back yourself, I feel.
Yeah?
Yeah, you need to back yourself. And that's the person you need. Nobody's going to be there for you anyway. So I think if you have enough things to back yourself up, you don't need anyone else.
So it's you.
Yeah, it's you.
It's all about. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, this will be your favorite. Okay. One word to describe this conversation.
This is mad. I think this has been mad. This has been what is the my vocabulary sucks. I think what is the word for surprising but more positive? I mean shocking but more positive but not surprising. One word, it's like
Ecstatic.
unpredictable also.
Like now you're like asking for
Now I'm like
fishing. Right?
Mood on fish. One word for unpredictable. It's been amusing.
Amusing. Oh,
Yeah.
Sweet.
It's been amusing for me also. I've amused myself with how much happened. Like, yeah.
For me, it was realization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah. I think sometimes when you go through journeys, you feel you're alone
Right.
in it. But when you talk to others and you hear from them similar stories, their journeys, and you're able to relate, you no longer feel alone.
Right.
We might be
I'm
smaller
glad.
population, but
I'm glad you felt that. It was nice. It was new for me. I've never given an interview like this.
will you do it again?
Different questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, then okay. It's okay if it's scary or it makes me cry more, but yeah. Yeah.
Samyukta, thank you so much. This
Thanks.
was such a delightful conversation.